Okay, good evening. Today is Dalet Adar. We are on page 76. It's the middle paraglamet. Chol shelo igia lidamid azum loch in gufoy melchom atzum kazum. It's a continuation of what you said yesterday. If you want to get humiliation compared to every person in the world, even you're talking about comparing yourself to Kal Shabakalim, the day on the street, and they have their challenges from dealing with the street. So he says, if you don't have the same war, internal war they have with their Yetzer Hara and what was going on in the world, in your mitzvah esse, meaning if you don't put a lot of efforts, like they put efforts to fight with their loisase, to that level of fight, to fight in your internal fight with your own body. We see described yesterday. They're going through a big war out there. So you still in a level of your efforts. You still didn't come to that level of the war with the Yetzer Hara. Haboyer ke'esh lahava, that like they have over there a Yetzer Hara that's burning like a big flame of fire. Lios nichna v'nishbar mipnei pachad havaya. What's their war is? The war is they have a big Yetzer Hara, and they still, the Alter Rebbe said, they still call the Rasha if they fall in. So what they have to do? They have to fight that big flame of fire of the Yetzer Hara with the fear of Hashem. So and you don't have, when you do mitzvahs esse, davening, learning, them saying Birkas Hamazon, you don't have such a big fight to do your mitzvahs esse. So on the level of efforts, you're a lot smaller than them. And that's the reason he's saying you have to have humility compared to them. Birkas Hamazon, Birkas Hanehenin v'amitzvahs b'kavon, ben tzarich lomar kavanas mitzvahs lishmon. Even a simple thing that we do on a daily basis, Birkas Hamazon, Birkas Hanehenin, mitzvahs b'kavona, we get used to it. We lose some time the neshama of the bracha. Arizal said that the main inyan of brachas, Birkas Hanehenin, should be done b'chavano b'simcha, and he says with that you could be masik in a ruach hakodesh. That's what the Arizal says. If you do the brachas b'kavana, because when you do the brachas b'kavana, it's the brachas. What's baruch atu Hashem? Baruch meloshen, not just bless you God. Baruch meloshen yomamshich hamavrich. You mamshich with the you do b'simcha b'kavana. You mamshich God into you. So mainly when you do those brachas, and especially in the food we eat, there's nitzutzes over there. When the more we say the bracha with kavana b'simcha, we mile the nitzutzes, and that could bring us. Somebody said to mile ruach hakodesh. So it says, and how many people do the mitzvahs, the bracha? So mitzvahs anashim b'lumada. It says to check yourself. Are you putting so much effort doing your birkas and mitzvahs, birkas hanehenin v'kavana? Like this guy, you have to put so much effort to fight his yitzra. In learning Torah, somebody that learns Torah, Yudea Sefer, by him it goes automatically. Like somebody going automatically to eat, this guy going automatically to learn. But yeah, that's the problem. Avodas Hashem cannot be automatically as a habit. You have to learn a lot more to make it avoida. That should be more than your habit, more than you get used to. So every time you have to pick up speed over here when you get used to a certain level. If you remember, we'll learn about it in Perek Tesvav. The Alter Rebbe brought the Gemara in Chagiga with Shavtam Urisam ben Tzadik l'Rosha ben Oved Elokim Lasher Lo Avodoi. In Perek Tesvav, the Alter Rebbe brought over there that the Gemara says, well, what's the difference between Tzadik and Oved Hashem and the Rosha and Lo Avodah? The Gemara concludes over there the takel Oved Hashem v'lo avoda the bot tzadikim. The Gemara says, but ena doima, it is not the same. Sheina pirka meh pa'amim, la sheina pirka meh ve'echad. Loy avodoi. What's that lo avodoi? He's a tzaddik. He's Oved Hashem, but he's not Oved Hashem complete. He's not complete. Why? Because he's only learning 100 times. And what's avodoi? The Gemara says Oved Hashem learning 101. So the Rebbe explained over there that the difference is, so the learning 100 times time of Chazal, that was the norm. Because they didn't have printed books, they need to know Baal Peh. The way you're going to know everything Baal Peh, learn 100 times, you'll know it Baal Peh. But that's, so in that time, somebody learned just 100 times, it was not Oved Hashem. Why? Because anything comes from habit, anything comes from regilus. You don't put effort, so it becomes already habit. Like I said, by people that learn and daven, it's habit already. They don't have to put a lot of efforts to go to daven, to go to learn, to do mitzvah, to put tefillin. It's already you used to it. It's automatically done. That's not Avodas Hashem. Avodah, a definition of Oved Hashem, it's Al Pi Nigla. It's nothing to do with Chassidus yet. Al Pi Nigla, Oved Hashem, Shoyne Pitum Me'ev Echad. You go above your habit. That's what he said. More than you want, more than you want according to your tava. It takes a war. Yes, the person on the street has a big war to not to do his averis with the way what he's going through on the streets. You have to go with the same war. What he's doing with the lavin loisase. You have to go to the same effort, the same war with your mitzvah, with your learning. Somebody learned just a little bit more than he got used to. It's a small war. And it's not even similar yet. It's not comparing yet to that person on the street that he has a huge war with his Yetzer Hara on the street. The mikre rosha gomor im eno menatzeach yitzroi lios nichna v'nishba mepnei havaya. Over there, if the person on the streets falls in, it doesn't conquer his Yetzer Hara, he's a rosha. Even though he fought a little bit, he didn't fight hard enough to conquer him because of fear of Hashem. So also by you, by mitzvahs eseh, if you're learning a little bit more than your habit, it's a small war. You don't have a big war as like this guy. Mali b'chinas sur mera, mali b'chinas v'asatoi. What's the difference where you put the efforts? Whether in sur mera or v'asatoi, hakol mitzvah samelech hakodesh yochid u'michad baruch hu. The idea is when we do Ratzon Hashem, it doesn't make a difference where we put our Ratzon Hashem. I do his Ratzon. I'm an Eved. He's the master. What difference which work you do? The Alter Rebbe said in the Kutat Torah, if Hashem would make us chotvei eitzim, v'shave mayim, that's what Moshe Rabbeinu put the Givonim, made them chotvei eitzim, wood choppers. If Hashem would tell us this mitzvah of the Jews, what you do the whole day, what your avodas Hashem, go chop wood, we will do this b'simcha. We're a servant. Whatever job you give me, I'll do it. I'm a servant. So he says like this, what the difference, where is your avodah? Whether you do avodah in mitzvahs esa or mitzvahs lois esa, you avodah Hashem, are you putting the same effort in avdus, in your avodas Hashem, like this guy putting his efforts in lois esa on the street? And in other mitzvahs also, especially, when you give tzedakah, again, a lot of time people give it as a habit. He got used to give what he got used to give, as it becomes a habit, no big deal. When a big avoid will be when you go over your habit, you give a lot more than you used to. That's already avodas Hashem. And even b'chinas sur mera, the person that sits a whole day in Bes Medrash and he's learning, doing avodas Hashem in Bes Medrash, even he could see in b'chinas sur mera is also doesn't do a good job like this guy that has challenges on the street. Every wise man could find in his own soul. You could find out, even people that are B'nai Torah, sitting and learning, they're probably more careful with doing mitzvahs, still they're not very careful completely to be very careful, Bakol Nikol Kol, meaning like completely clean out of Surmera. What comes place of a war, like this guy in the street, even you don't even try sometimes, way less than him. Going like Lamosha. He gives a very practical mashal. Lahafsik be'emtza sicha no. You're talking to your friend. We're not talking about talking lashon hara. You're talking about stam dvarim b'teilim. It's no isur over there. Let's say. Let's say you're talking about news, and you know what? Try to just for mitzad iskafia. We spoke about it already previously. Just to suppress your yetzer hara, just to exercise power over yetzer hara. Stop middle of your conversation. That's a good conversation. Maybe you could go on for 2 hours, and you say, you know what? I don't want to waste my time. I have other things to do. I want to stop in the middle. I have a juicy story to tell or to hear, but I'm going to stop in the middle of it. Or sipur begnus chaveiroi, or saying something negative on your friend. Stop in the middle. Yes, sometimes you feel that I have some juicy story to say. Stop in the middle. And even something you could feel it's not a big lashon hara. I'm saying something small about somebody. But kalma oid, avshu emes, even though I'm saying the truth. And even you're doing something just to clear yourself. There's a story, you have a connotation to that story, and you need to clear your name. Lav ano kasve ela Yehuda chayota kasve. Rab Shimon, the son of Rabbeinu HaKodesh, Rabbi Yehuda Anossi told his father, I did not write this. It was Yehuda, the tailor, wrote this. He wanted to clear himself. Amar Lei, his father, Rabbi Yehuda Anossi, told him, Kelach melashon hara. So mashma, even such a small stuff, you said it not to speak lashon hara about Yehuda Chayota. You're saying it to clear yourself that he should not choshe that you wrote something that he didn't like. But still, his father told him it's lashon hara. Go, stay away from this. The Chai Gavna Kamamila the Shkicha Tuva and similar stuff that's it's very much found by us that we're not careful with. Even people that they sefer, even people that the whole day in the realm of kedusha, sometimes they're not careful. Even though you do think dvarim amutorim, glad you're going to eat glad kosher meal, glad kosher wine, but there's a mitzvah kaddish atmach b'mutarlach. Maybe minimize it, maybe don't eat it. He says shumi the raisa, and it's not just mitzvah the chasidusa. It's mit the raisa. Moshkosov kedoshim tiyu v'goymer v'skadishtam v'goymer, and Chazal telling us kaddish atmach b'mutarlach. Again, so he's giving you a bunch of checkpoints over here where you could check yourself and see that you're far away from being perfect, yeah, and your union of efforts of avoida, it's not close to the efforts of the avoida of that culture bekalim on the street have to go through. And even you're going to tell me that Kaddish Atzmach Mutalach, there's an opinion, it's midrabanon, says divrei sofrim chamurim divrei Torah. So it doesn't mean you have to be lenient about it. It's stricter than the Torah. This example that Alter brought, and similar to them, and this is from the Avera. The person, he gets used to them and he steps over them already. He doesn't even realize he's doing them. Not only he doesn't realize he's doing an isur, he's not aware, it becomes by him in his mind a heter. He thinks that it's okay to do it. Since he did it so many times, he doesn't even realize, not even aware that he's doing an isur. Now, how much effort you're putting not to do them? Sometimes zero. So again, coming to the level of efforts, you didn't put efforts in Avodas Hashem, like this guy, culture bekalim, that if he will do Aveira, he called a Rosha. אבל באמס, אם הוא יודע ספר, הוא מחזיק בתרס הוויים, וקרבס אלוקים יחפוץ, גודל אבוינה מנסוי. For all these things that you're not careful with, your aveira is great. V'ashmosoi godlo bekifla kiflayim, your negligence is greater, kifla kiflayim, double and doubles, than compared to this guy. V'masha'ena nilcham mizgaber al yitzroi. There's a Tanya and a guy that's again is in the realm of kedusha, that he doesn't do same type of avoida efforts like this guy on the street have to put up with. You don't have a similar avoida like this guy, culture bekalim, that light-headed man on the street that would he have to go through. Or people that Yeshve Kronos, people that sitting and they have to deal their work of business on the streets, Yesh v'Kronos, Harchoikim me'avaya v'Torah. They're far away from Hashem or is learning Torah. And Ashmosam godla kolkach. And if they're not so careful and something, their aveda is not great as people that are sitting and learning. But Mashonam Kovshim Yitzram, if they cannot conquer the Yitzhara all the time, a boyer ke'esh lavom, if nepachad avaya, a mevin or mabit al kol masayim, because they're not aware of godliness, they're not aware of it. Kashmas kol hakorev hakorev alavayvel torosir, but also the more you closer to Hashem, the demands are greater. Why Hashem didn't forgive Acher? Because it says Yoda b'chvoidi. It's the worst part when a person knows God and Mechaved Limroid Boy. V'lochen amur Razal al Ame Haaretz shes doines las loem kishgoges. Ame Haaretz, even though it could be a Baal Aveira, but by him he doesn't know. He doesn't know better, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives him a discount, makes the zoden, whatever is negligent, considers a shoygig. But a person, so he goes back to the Ben Torah. If you have a feeling of superiority, holiness, I'm better than someone else, you don't feel you have a problem, because from you Hashem demands a lot more. That's why the whole parak of here, that's the conclusion of the parak, a person have to be humble, a friend of every single person in the world, even including, like we said at the beginning of the parak, in front of a goy. He has the different standards. Your standards are a lot higher, you're a lot holier, a lot purer, a lot better, you're a lot more careful of anything. Still, in the level of avoida, the nisyonos, the challenges they have to go through, that's a lot greater. And you, from what the demand is greater, so you could have done a lot more in level of efforts in avodas Hashem. And if that's what you don't do, don't have such efforts for that alone, you have to feel humble towards everybody. So that's the conclusion of this parak. A person has no right to feel superiority, to feel holiness towards anybody. It's a big balmum. A guy with the Gemara says it's a big mum. So a person really, and this is a basic. A person is not like, it's an honor. No, a basic is that we have to feel humble in front. V'shfal ruach b'fnei kol hodom. Okay, Rabbi Yisrael, we'll see you tomorrow night.
Спасибо.
Всего хорошего. До свидания.
До свидания.